On this episode of The Wild Table, we hunt down some nuisance wild pigs who've been causing havoc on a local farm. With an exciting nighttime hunt, we managed to get several animals on deck, and the very next day we get up early as to light a fire for a 14-hour whole hog slow smoke. Then we serve tender wild pork with an apple and brandy sauce. Another epic wild feast not to be missed.
Alright, what's up? So we're back in the farm. Trent said that there was a couple of nuisance pigs, or actually a bunch of nuisance pigs around at the moment rooting up the paddocks. It's always a good time to try and colour field them. And obviously we're always looking for wild meat, so fingers crossed. Get a couple of wild pigs on deck tonight. And then we've got something to cook. They've come out sort of at the base of that sort of bunch of mature trees on the edge there. Right, gotcha. Right underneath that last trees. Right, so it's just getting on that light right now where the pigs might come out. So Trent's just going ahead of us and he's just sort of scoping out the area. Pretty keen to get a bit of meat on deck. The freezer's starting to get empty, so here's to hoping.
I love this time of day. Magic hour. That hour or so that holds the first and the last light of the day. It's the hour when and if you're at the right place, you're the most likely to encounter wild animals making their move to come out of their hiding place to start feeding. The stuff many a hunter will lie awake and fantasize about at night, myself included. This evening is cooling down quite quickly despite the unseasonably warm weather, and I'm pretty hopeful that we'll see some movement in short order. Damn, here I made a big mistake. I shot at the pig, and thinking that it would be a sure thing, I moved on to try and shoot the boar as well. Turns out, I did in fact hit the sow square on, but a touch too high, and I never even saw her turn and run. Not good at all. We investigate the scene, but there is no trace of the pig.
Spotted another mob just further up here. So fingers crossed we can get a good posse and have another crack at it. Balls of the first pig tonight, but at least down one. Phew, from when we saw them, they didn't go very far. We thought that they were trudging up the fence line, but that's what it looked like, they ended up just sort of staying here. Cool. So this was our third attempt at pigs tonight. Shot one back there,
and then how many were there? About 3 or 4, 5?
4 on this lot.
Yeah, right. And they must have crossed our scent from when we walked through here earlier. Eh?
Very agitated.
So they obviously, because we walked through here earlier, so they caught our scent and they were just milling about. But Trent had the thermal on, so he could exactly see where they were at. And they actually, I was just lying in the dark, no idea where they were going to come from. Well, sort of an idea where they were going to come from, but they popped up about like 3 meters in front of us and pretty much shot 2 of them point blank. These are only really young ones. But the good thing about that is pest control, numbers management, and they're going to taste amazing. So yeah, that's 3 porkers for the table. Thanks very much. I'm glad that pigs aren't a thing. They almost were. Couldn't get the deer, couldn't get the kingfish, but we got the pigs. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you just got to watch some of the previous episodes. All right, thanks very much, as always. Let's deal to these guys. Cool.
So they hold a lot of urine and semen right there.
Yeah. So that's what we cut out.
Yeah. So, but usually when you go to start using it, it's sort of under pressure.
Yeah.
And it'll start squirting, and that stuff sort of smells horrendous.
Yeah.
So you can just grab it and give it a squirt, hold it all up, point it away from you.
Right.
And get that stuff out of there.
Right. Gotcha.
Because it is, once you've done that, move your pig.
Yeah.
That stuff in a big bore, it's just, it'll taint your meat.
Right.
Get on your hands, it fucking reeks.
Sweet. Thank you. Alright, so it's 4 a.m. Trying to be quiet so we don't wake the neighbors up, but I got up at 3, took the skin off that pig. It's just sitting inside. We're gonna light the fire right now because we've got guests coming this afternoon about 5:30. So I want to do like a 12 to 14 hour slow cook. So gonna get the fire cranking right now, and then we're gonna get that meat on there and cook. Let's go. So got a whole pig in the Kiwioutdoor, and I've also added to it some beef cheeks. I've got some wallaby legs in there that I've just defrosted, and also a venison leg from a young deer that we shot the other day. There's quite a lot of meat in there. Now I'm using a mixture of lump charcoal and oak wood to keep the temperature up in this oven at the moment. We're below 100 degrees Celsius, so we need to get the temperature up a little bit. Basically what we're going to try and do is keep the temperature of this fire going at about 110 to 120 for the entire day. So this is going to burn for about 12 to 14 hours today. And oak wood is quite a good way to do it because oak really holds its heat, but adding a little bit of lump charcoal is also quite a good way of maintaining that heat. So just added a bit more charcoal to it. I'm going to blow it now to get some oxygen in there, and with that extra oxygen and fuel should be able to get the temperature up a little bit.
Okay, so the temperature's just crept up. We just added some more wood to the fire, and it's just pushed the temperature right up. So it's actually gone up to about 170. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open the doors for starters, off the top compartment of the oven, which is going to let some of that heat right out. And then once that's sort of aired out a little bit, that'll automatically drop the temperature. So it quite quickly already goes down about 10 degrees. So once I've done that and let some of the hot air out, open the compartment at the bottom. I'm just going to disperse that fire slightly. So as you can see, there's not much in there, but what it is essentially the reason why you hug yourself or hug something when you're cold is because you want to hold the heat in. It's the same with the fire. If it's all bunched up, it'll hold heat. If you disperse it, it quite quickly drops in temperature. So just by pushing it out a little bit, and then we can open, so it's already gone back down to about 150 degrees. So if I just open the top some more and just leave it open for a minute, that should, there you go, it's dropping. There, we're just about 120 now. So we can close this thing down again. So try and keep the heat content in. And then I'll quite simply sort of just shuffle this fire back together a little bit. Obviously there's some good heat going on in here right now, so I'm just going to shut the door on this and dampen it right down. And I reckon that'll stay at that 120 quite nicely. Fire management. Super important to know if you're going to slow cook stuff directly over fire.
Radio. So meat's been in there now for about 8 hours, so it's starting to get there, but we still have until 5 this afternoon, so we still got another 4 hours to cook it, which is exactly what I want. 12 hours, bang on the money. Now obviously you can't just chuck the meat in there and leave it be, right? You need to concentrate on keeping the temperature right, but you also need to add stuff to it. So little spritz bottle right here, I've got a mixture of 50% apple juice and apple cider vinegar, right? So every hour, on the hour, just keep everything good soaked down with the spritz bottle. That just helps to keep everything moist and juicy, and also it creates nice sweet flavor on the outside of the meat. Also, when the meat went into the oven this morning, I already had a nice coating of salt and pepper, and that's pretty much it. So salt and pepper, nice and spritz of apple juice and apple cider vinegar, it'll come out mint. And then all you gotta do is just be patient. Tongs. Okay, so as I said, it's been cooking for about 8 hours now, so I'm going to flip the whole thing now because it's been cooking like this for the last 8 hours, and we want to make sure that both sides get cooked from the smoke underneath evenly, and also all the other meats haven't been turned yet, so just going to give everything a good flipperoo. Alright, so the pork has been in the oven for a number of hours now, and of course we're going to have to think of something to serve the pork with. So what we're going to do is really simple. We're going to make a nice, quick and easy little apple compote to serve the pork with, because what goes better with pork than apple sauce, right? Okay, so a super simple process. We basically have diced the apple into pieces. Now we're going to take a little bit of nutmeg and a little bit of cinnamon, about a teaspoon and a half of each, and chuck that in there, and then we're going to toss that and coat the apples with the spices. Next, we're going to heat some apple cider vinegar in a pan and add about 5 teaspoons of brown soft sugar to it. And we simmer that on low heat until all the sugar is dissolved and it starts to thicken up nicely. Then we're going to add the apple mixture to it, and we're going to fry the apples until they start to sort of go golden brown and soft. And then right to the very end, I'm going to stir in a little bit of brandy and of course some butter just to make it pop. Okay, so moment of truth, I guess. It's been in there now for 12 hours, and let's find out. So we're just gonna take it now, I'm gonna place it up, and then I'm gonna serve it to the guests, and hopefully it turned out good. Good, here's me. That is one piglet. That looks next level.
Been in the Kiwioutdoor now since 5 o'clock this morning. So should be falling apart. Sincerely hope that it is. Fire. What a way to cook. What an incredible pleasure to harvest some wild game and the very next day slow smoke the meat on a Kiwi-made fire oven and provide the freshest food to my mates. Needless to say, I still have much to learn, but hey, that's the joy of it.